Hey everybody, you know what time it is? It is Sipping with Sue time. I am Szu-Moy, and if you are joining us for the first time, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, chatting with real people doing real things extraordinarily. And if you're joining us for the first time and you haven't gone over to my YouTube channel, please do subscribe and hit the bell to get all of the latest content as soon as it is uploaded. So I am, oh my goodness, I'll be late to my own funeral, I tell you. But we're here. It's Friday. We're at the end of the week. Happy mid autumn and cheers to another week in the books. Tonight, we have the pleasure of having a fellow veteran and motorcycle enthusiast, Donald Berry, with us. Welcome. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
What do you have to drink?
Sweet tea.
Mm-hmm. He made that sweet tea look pretty too.
It's great.
It's lovely. I love it so much. So, how are you? How was your week?
The week was it was eventful. We had a tornado on
Jeez.
or yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we had some shingle to come through the upstairs window and send glass throughout the house.
Oh
Took
my
out the
God.
water line, and I got a messed up roof a little bit.
Oh wow. So you really need that sweet tea right now.
So yeah, yeah,
You've had one heck of a week also. Oh my goodness.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys are okay and that you're able to come chat with me this wonderful and beautiful Friday evening. So, can you give us a little bit of background on yourself so folks can get acquainted with you?
Yes. So I was a Navy engineman, E5. I live here so everybody knows Houston, but officially in Cypress, Texas. I have two kids, a son, 22, daughter, 27, and a brand new 1 month, I might get that wrong, but 1 month old granddaughter.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
So, like that's like itty bitty. That's like a little
yeah,
peanut.
yeah. Really small, yeah. Yeah,
Aw.
kind of excited, kind of a chance to do it again.
Hmm, hmm.
Maybe better this time.
Oh, of course, because we get to, once we turn over the parent title to which we never really turn it over. I guess we have the addition of the grandparent title. I feel like we definitely go the extra mile, and then the kids are all like, "Really? You
Yeah,
didn't do that for me?"
get a little bit more lenient.
Yeah, all of the above, all of the above.
Yeah,
So Navy for 5 years. Thank you for your service. We love veterans. We love our military family, and we definitely keep it close to us, right?
yes.
Um, but when we were talking prior, you had a bit of a difficult transition when you did leave the military, and some of us, sometimes do. I know it took me probably a good year, if not a little bit more, to transition out of the military and actually get acclimated to civilian life. So tell us a little bit about that from your perspective.
Well, it was, of course, the camaraderie that you get used to over the time, uh, and it's quite a bit different than a coworker.
Hmm.
So once I got out, of course, I was a top mechanic. I mean, me and my friend Wright, we got sent out on everything. And then you get out and you find out, like, man, that stuff you were working on is ancient. And we don't work on those things anymore. We send all that out, or it's a remove and replace more than it is remove and repair things. And,
Hmm.
and so it was kind of put me in my place, if you will, because I was so confident and just knew I was going to have it easily. And it was a game changer. So then I ended up being a parts driver instead of mechanic like I thought. And just the friends, the camaraderie, that was all gone. So it was pretty, seemed like fast that all
Hmm.
that went away and you start over. Uh, thankfully I had met my wife already, and so that really helped with the transition, that you can kind of come home and complain or whatever you want to say about how it's different. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword. Like, you was so happy to be out in a way, but then you just like you missed guess the day to day and the people.
Yeah, definitely the camaraderie. I definitely agree with you on that one big time. And then you get home and it's a little so lonely. Feel like what's my purpose? What am I doing? What's going on? And I know for you, you said you weren't able necessarily to find work, but in the interim of looking, you did find you were helping lots of people with lots of things. So how did that start? And tell us a little bit about that.
Um, I've never been afraid to do anything. So I would just dabble, and I call myself having my own business. And you seem to be really busy when it's favors. And then once you put a price on it, everything slows down. But
Hmm.
I didn't turn anything down, and I learned a lot of just kind of while doing, learning while doing. That's what I call it. And of course, then you really can't charge if you're learning while doing. And the more I could afford, those jobs just felt good when you were able to do something and just help somebody in a bind. And for a while, I got away from that because I had to earn a living, and I just did that when I could. But I just started fixing, and people would say, "Hey, I heard you could do this." I'm like, I could try, and so it was just working with friends a lot and
Hmm.
learning the craft of a handyman, if you will.
Yeah.
And it
And
just
then
kept stretching into more and more in-depth favors, if you will.
So those favors turned into full-blown projects. So tell us a little bit about some of the projects that you've had to encounter as a favor and then realized, how big it was or how difficult it was.
Um, Most of the favors were like hanging ceiling fans. So that was kind of, I'm going to say, like the largest request.
Hmm.
But once you get in the home, people would say, "Hey, but can you do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So, one visit for the ceiling fan ended up being putting up a light, changing out a light. And about that time, we were starting to get flat screen TVs. And so it was still kind of new, but people were getting them. And so they want to know if I could mount it. And so mounting TVs, it really took off for me. I mean, like, it really took off where I was really busy every weekend doing TV mounts. And that's kind of what I got into the TV mounting. And then they started asking my advice on stereos. And so I started with surround sound, putting in speakers. And then that turned into cameras. So it helped me do a lot of vacation and track days. I'll say it like that. Still long, but
So,
enough.
but you were able to put a price tag on it so that you could do these things.
Yeah, eventually I could. Yeah.
So how long did it take? Like how many years of you going through trial and error before you were able to actually put a price tag on it and make it your business?
Mm, I'm gonna say we got good pretty quick. So I'm gonna say about 2 years where I felt confident to say, "Hey, I charge this much,"
Hmm.
and and it didn't slow down. So I found out that I was undervaluing myself.
We
But
tend to do that, don't we?
yeah,
And
you
I
know
think that's
why?
what it well, I think one of the biggest things with being an entrepreneur and getting yourself started with that stuff, and I know I talked with Stratford last week about that too, about just, you just got to get started, just do it. One of the other aspects of that is just knowing your value for sure. You know,
Right.
when you're an entrepreneur, you are starting from scratch. You're doing everything. You don't have the accounting person. You're the accounting person. You don't have the marketing person. You're the marketing person. You're the one man shop for everything. And
Right.
so knowing your value with your expertise, and then the fact that you have to do everything yourself is pretty, you know, it's a lot to try to figure all of that out and encompass it into, this is what I'll charge.
Right. Yeah. And still sometimes like it's a little battle with yourself because I tell myself like I wouldn't pay that. So it was hard to it was hard to charge, but it's different for me because I kind of start seeing it as easy. But when I started seeing like people were like, wow, that is great, and oh, no wires. And so I just like, man, I need to find out what other people are charging.
Hmm.
And so I started doing that. Let me see, I forget what that place was called. Circuit City.
Oh, you are going way back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm like,
Taking
man,
it back, taking it back.
so I'm doing just as good as work, better because my name was on it. Theirs I
Hmm.
feel like, man, that's a store.
Yes.
No real attachment.
Hmm.
But if I did it and someone say, hey, Sue, who did that TV for you? That's what I wanted, and not Sue, who did that TV?
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was a big driver for me having my name on it.
Hmm. And then you also were helping family members through some kind of some major turning points and crisis also,
Yeah,
right?
that was actually more recent. I so it was my best friend. They always have this uh, any birthday party or whatever. They would get up and tell a speech. So it was my neighbor from down the street that I grew up with,
Hmm.
and she had this guy over. She was in college then, and he's over there with his hat leaning against the wall, and that's like my sister. And
Hmm.
I looked at him, and I said, man, this guy ain't gonna make it. And so I told her that. And so it's like every anniversary, they never let me forget that I told her, like, this guy ain't gonna make it.
Hmm.
And so that's been oh, 30 years. So we're tight.
Hmm.
And like he recently passed, it's been 1 year coming up on the World Series. He passed, he had cancer. And so you just like feel like not obligated, but I kind of think like he would expect me to kind of fill in where I could. And and it's kind of my sister, so it feels good helping, but I have to be honest, I do feel like it's what I'm supposed to do for her.
It's your
Like,
calling for her. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that.
yeah.
I get
And so now it's again, I'm retired. So I had my daughter to put that on my Facebook for me. I say put retired on there. So
that.
so they'll stop asking me. I'm like, I don't want to do this that much anymore with the TVs because they are much larger now than what 55 used to be the size, and now that's everybody has a 55. That's
It's a process too to mount that, because I mean, or to mount the TVs, because my husband has had me help him with that, and I'm like, I don't really want to help you anymore. I'm just
yeah,
saying, I'm just gonna leave it at that.
okay, yeah, because I'm sure he has his weight.
Yes.
We all do,
Hmm.
and yeah, so it's gotten to be where uh, everything from needing a car. Hey, the car is doing this, so I go get the car and take it to the shop. Just try to do what he would do or used to do,
Hmm.
and I use, I probably shouldn't, but like I always think like God is looking at you always,
Hmm.
and I figure He's shaking His head, so He's either doing like this or He's doing like that, and so that's kind of how I think about stuff. Like what is He doing right now?
Hmm.
So I try to keep it where
It's this,
it gets good with me.
not. Mm-mm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's retired. He's 57. I
Hmm.
blessed him, and this is the answer he's given to someone that needs. So that's kind of how I look at a lot of things now. Like you are able to help.
Gotcha. And that's commendable. It's amazing just because there's so many people out there that won't necessarily do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so thank you for that. But you've remodeled and done now multiple renovations under your belts and then found that passion and purpose in helping others clearly, especially with your sister and helping her and her need. So how does it feel? How does that feel from like now from when you first started and how does it feel?
It really feels good because like uh you just don't see yourself. I never saw myself doing this. I love working on cars and brake jobs, but I let my career truly turn that into work to where I don't enjoy it.
Hmm.
I enjoy these. Uh, it's just seeing what you've done afterwards and how appreciative people are. So uh, it's really exciting. I enjoy this a lot, and especially the larger projects. Like, man, I did that. It's
Hmm.
I really love that part of it.
Ah, I love it too. And I'm sure the people that you're helping are super thankful and super grateful. So
Yeah.
what are the so we named a couple of things since we've been talking. It's been TV mounts and stereos. What are the other different things what is the that list of handyman things that you do for folks?
Okay, so one of the harder ones that I just did was a floating vanity that hit
Ooh.
my butt. Um, a bidet. Um,
I would like a bidet. I told Juan this already. I'm like, can we just have this in the house? I'm like, I lived in Asia and in Europe. Like this is come on.
well, my wife is HGTV just fanatic, and so a lot of projects start off as we.
But we are not French,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
But so sometimes Amazon just shows up with something, and I'll be like, okay, let's do it. And so that bidet was, you had to put an outlet in there,
Mhm.
and then
So it was
redo.
so it was the electric one, it wasn't the standard one, right?
Yeah, so it's both. So yeah, it has the seat automatically goes up and automatic flush. It's for the ladies because it
It's for
doesn't.
everybody, it's for everybody.
Uh,
I will tell you a man in Egypt when we were having the COVID time of our lives, we were like, "Well, how is COVID here? Do you have issues with the toilet paper and stuff?" And he's like,
mm,
why would we have issues with toilet like, it was a snooty one too. "Why would we have issues with toilet paper?
mm,
He goes, "We wash." And I'm like, "Oh."
yeah, it's
It made us sound so gross. I was
yeah, it's different. It's
yeah.
different. But yeah, it's
Oh my goodness.
one more point of it is that that warm seat just does something. It's just like, wow, this seat is warm.
I'm feeling good. Okay.
Yeah. So but they the pot lights or can lights or whatever you want
Mhm.
to call it, ceiling lights. Uh, one convert bathtub into a walk-in shower. Uh, and one complete apartment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did a condo. We had a condo in Hawaii. Uh, it was on the second floor. It got flooded by the tenants on the third floor.
Hmm.
So the insurance fought the complex back and forth forever. And we're paying rent every month. Rent
Hmm.
house note, rent house note. And we're like, guys, what are we gonna do? And so finally, we just bought tickets, went to Hawaii, and I had to do it myself.
Wow.
And it was huge because I mean everything, the complete ceiling was on the floor.
And water damage, it's not something you reverse. So it's,
Yeah.
you have to get in there, you have to clean everything out and yeah.
Everything out. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. All of the sheetrock. So I hadn't done a big sheetrock job like that before.
Okay.
So that was a first doing all of the sheetrock. But one part I couldn't do was the float the the sheetrock in. You know, because you got to tape and float it and make it look like one wall.
Okay.
So that didn't look professional as I like. So I did end up hiring a professional to tape and float. But other than that, replaced stove, cabinets. I ripped all that stuff out.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was man, it was huge because I didn't think I could do all of it, but I didn't have a choice but to do all of
Mhm.
it. And it was done and we sold it and I mean, I had to have pictures of that, but yeah, what a place to work though. That was great. My wife ended up leaving me there by myself, which that's not a complaint, but yeah. So
Yeah, in Hawaii by yourself.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, torture. Yeah,
Oh
but it
my goodness.
took me a couple of months, but I got that done.
Hmm.
Uh, so that's man, that's like my biggest accomplishment as a person not in that trade that I got that done.
That's awesome. That's
Oh, yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
I have Michelle on, and she was saying she was asking, what do you consider your satisfaction in what you do?
My satisfaction. Wow, I just think that is it's hard to explain the feeling. Um, like you heard the term, it's better to give than receive. But
Hmm.
it doesn't sound real. Like, how can it be better for me to give something than to get something? But it's nothing like it. The satisfaction of helping somebody, and it just puts it over the top. When you help somebody, and sometimes they might not appreciate it, you still you know you did. But when they are genuinely appreciative of what you did, it's nothing like it. It's absolutely nothing like it. And I would challenge anybody to try that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Well, I don't have anything else. I want to thank you so much and ask you, how can folks get in touch with you to get your help?
Mm. Um, man, my email, I
Okay.
guess that would be the best way to do it. Um, or my phone. Well, my phone number would be best. I try
Okay.
to. I'm gonna have to put you in my friend zone first, because that's probably the most people that I do work for now is friends.
Hmm.
But anybody that I reach on this, I'll do. I'll help. I'll do what I can.
Awesome. Awesome. And again, he's near Houston and Cypress. And if you're in the area and you need some help, Donald can definitely help you out clearly with all of the things that he's been doing. So we can make sure you can find him on Facebook. We can make sure we put all of his information on there that you're willing to lend out to us, and then we can go from there. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, thanks for having me on. I feel kind of like a star a little bit.
Oh, you are. You are the star of the show today.
Thank you.
Michelle's asking, do you work in Clovis, New Mexico? Ha ha ha.
If
We'll
she can
travel
get
for
me
work.
there, I can do that.
There you go. Michelle, if you can get him over there, he can totally help you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So, okay, so before I let you go, like I like to do with all of my guests, I like to do a just for fun speed round. So are you ready to go?
Yes.
All righty. All right. Do you use manual shears or electric?
Electric.
Lazy. Okay. Favorite thing to do to relax?
Um, YouTube videos in the tub.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With a glass of tea.
Glass of tea. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. All right. If you could be anywhere in the world, where would you be?
Hawaii.
You'd be back in Hawaii. What islands? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pull that layer back even further. What islands in Hawaii?
Oahu.
You'd be in Oahu. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. So the best remodel reno you've completed and why? And I think you actually answered this question.
Yeah. The apartment.
That was
Condo.
the apartment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's because it was the biggest, most intensive one for somebody who doesn't actually have this as a trade. But I
Right.
appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Donald. And for everybody else, cheers. Have a fabulous mid-autumn night. It's a full moon, so get outside and enjoy the beauty of the outdoors
Good.
and the weekend. So we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Yes.